The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
Alongside Carson-Newman baseball coach Tom Griffin, I'm Michael Watchering, and this is SeeingEagles.com. The Eagles get set for a 3-game series against Lenore Run, and coach, third extra inning game of the year against King on Tuesday, and you come away with a victory despite the fact that for much of the game, King had more runners on base. Your pitching staff was able to get out of it, and your team just stuck with it, winning an 11-inning game.
You made the point before, though, that with them stranding some of those runners, that's always kind of a good sign that they're not capitalizing, and that's happened to us earlier. So fortunately, we made some big plays in that game that kept that game from ending earlier than maybe it should have. So we were very pleased with our players on how they battled and how they played mentally, and we thought throughout the course of the game that they were very relaxed during the whole situation. There was not that, oh no, here we go again. And that's a credit to the players more than anything else, and our leaders.
You have your final home series in South Atlantic Conference play. Season's really flying by here. The offense really starting to pick it up. The pitching staff starting to level out a little bit. Where do you see the state of the team at this point in the season?
Well, it is. These guys have thrown some innings, but, Coach Herring and the upperclassmen and our pitchers have really prepared all year for this. They've prepared for this workload. So, everyone's going to go through some stretches where, you can't throw complete games every day. And they've hit a little bit of, missing their spots a little bit. But, we've got confidence in our pitchers and our bullpen. And our defense has, I think, been pretty steady all year. And I think offensively, you're right. There seems to be a better flow, mentally feel better about things. So, yeah, I think we're at a good point right now, especially what happened this week and weekend. I think that's a good sign going into any next game that you're playing.
I mentioned the fact that this is your last conference home game. You have 9 conference games left. Is there any added importance to this contest, to this weekend's contest, knowing that it's at home and then you play 2 of the top teams in the conference after this?
Well, I hope we don't, and I'm sure, Michael, everyone, you look at the standings and stuff, but you want to make sure that the players understand and that the coaches understand that all we can control is right now. Mm-hmm. And again, it goes back to yesterday as being a history and tomorrow is a mystery. So I didn't make that up, by the way, Michael. I've heard that from someone else. Right. But all we can do is worry about today's practice. And we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. We didn't want to do that when we were playing well. We don't want to do that when things weren't going well. And we're not going to change that mentality at all about just take care of today. And when we say take care of today, we truly mean that, okay, wake up with a purpose and passion, get to class, not 2 minutes before it, but 15 minutes before it. Give it a great effort in that classroom, and then when it's your time to come here, then turn it on and be excited about being here and being passionate. And that's the lesson we've been trying to teach these guys all year is just don't be passionate about one thing. Be passionate about everything that you do, whether it's in the classroom, sitting in the cafeteria eating, going to Chick-fil-A, sitting down and talking with you, BP, infield, outfield, doesn't matter. And if we take that mentality, it doesn't matter who we play, and it doesn't matter where the standings are. And I think that's what our purpose ought to be.
You get Lenore Ryan this weekend. They boast the reigning conference player of the year, and Ivan Vietes, a guy that can beat you with his bat, a guy that can beat you with his arm on the mound as well, a guy that last year, I wouldn't say single-handedly beat you, but a guy that certainly was an impossible guy for you to get out. What's the key to this weekend against the Bears?
Well, his 4 years, he's been a solid two-way guy, and you're right, he is probably one of the top players in our league, and they're playing very well. I mean, they were red hot in the beginning of the year. Their numbers are good, and they're playing for something as well. What we expect, I think what we expected every day. It's going to be competitive. We want to treat the game just like another game, which is hard when it's a weekend series. But I think our guys have done that. I think they've treated midweek games very well and have gone in there and competed and had the right mentality for it. So we don't want to change that on Friday or Saturday. Just take care of what we can do. We're playing and competing against the baseball, really, because it doesn't matter who's throwing it or who's hitting it. We're trying to catch that baseball and trying to hit that baseball. So we try to keep it into that mindset versus who we're playing against and getting caught up into, the numbers or the standings, because I think that, and we know that's a distraction. Yep. And the less distractions, the better. Mm-hmm. So if we can eliminate some of those distractions by focusing on what we can do, great. Now, the job that our upperclassmen and coaches have to do is to make sure we do that. Mm-hmm. And believe me, I'm probably one of the worst. In that dugout, I got to make sure I stay focused. And I've got people around me that help keep me balanced and centered. Mm-hmm. And we've got to hold each other accountable, just like in life. And I'll do that for you in life, Michael. We need that accountability, and we need people to remind us of what our purpose is and what we're doing right now versus yesterday or tomorrow.
Thanks for your time. Best of luck this weekend, Coach.
Michael, thank you very much. Now, we're in the NCAA, getting down to the
Sweet 16 is tonight.
Are you changing any predictions?
Well, I've lost 2 Final Four teams in what I selected, but I still think Arizona is the team to beat.
Okay, and now what about the women's side?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay, well, we'll look into that next week, Michael.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week. All 3 games will be broadcast on seeandeagles.com/live. For head coach Tom Griffin, I'm Michael Watchering, and this is seeandeagles.com.